Experience magic like never before this Christmas from the 22nd of December to the 2nd of January 2024 at impact Planet.
Located at Kilometer 12, Lagos Ibadan Expressway, opposite Mountain Top University, Ibadan, Ogun State.
You better be there, or you miss out on all the fun we are going to be having. Tell your mommy and daddy that there will be a 10% discount when they book a minimum of 2 nights between October 9th and November 31st.
Wow. For more inquiries, visit www.highimpactplanet.com or call 0814-229-9590 or 0812-271-4373.
High Impact Planet Amusement Park and Resort. Fun just got real!
A very beautiful Thursday morning it is, the 16th day in the month of November 2023, and I'm so excited to welcome you to Newspaper Review on High Impact 102.1 FM. I am Sarah Owusu-Ansah. It's my pleasure to be here. Interesting one. Yesterday night, we got the update about how the NLC and the TUC have suspended the strike after a meeting with the National Security Advisor in person of Nuhu Ribadu. And that's going to be the premise of our conversation this morning. Good morning, Krumale.
Very good morning to you, Sarah. Good morning to you, Lagos. Good morning to you, Nigeria. Yes, I was surprised when I saw it this time. I thought this was going to be the mother of all strikes. Now, I equally saw part of the reasons why they call off the strike, which is, will I call them reasons or just one reason that the National Security Advisor, Mr. Nuhu Ribadu, intervened, and the Nigerian Labour Congress and the Trade Union Congress, that those who actually assaulted the president, Mr. Joe Ajaero, or let's say Comrade Joe Ajaero, was arrested.
Well, apparently they've been apprehended. And investigation is ongoing.
Why are their names not made? Let's know who they are. The report tends to hide their names. Why?
Apparently they still put suspected. So it's still like an let's say till they finish their investigations. But my concern now is people's reactions to this, right? Now, if you read the statement, you will see that they they suspended the strike or after a meeting which started at about 7 p.m. yesterday. And according to them, the NSA, the National Security Advisor, Nuhu Ribadu, has heard them. He has promised to, push for their demands. And when they were asked if this suspension is only temporary or that's it, they said it's a temporary move. They are giving the government a specific time, and if they don't meet up with the time, they would go. And I'm like, this is a circle. People are no longer holding the NLC in that esteem that they used to. Because even when the strike started 2 days ago, a lot of people did not even know there was strike. It didn't feel like it. And people were already saying, let's watch out. Before the end of this week, they are going to suspend the strike. They say they had a meeting, and then they will tell you after they're giving the government some time. After that time, if the government does not meet it, they're going to come back again. Now, the maritime sector lost billions of naira over the strike. The organized private sector also critiqued the strike in the first place, saying it was ill-timed and mismanaged. There's so much conflict here. Where
is there a better time for strike action?
Well,
there is no better time. And for me, on one part, I think people should not dictate, most especially the organized private sector, which has been against the Nigerian Labour Congress since time immemorial. Whenever they said we want to go on strike, I say time immemorial or just say recently, they are always against the Nigerian Labour Congress from going on strike. However, I on the other part, who want to equally critique labor for the we are going on strike today, 24 hours, and they called it off because people begin to lose their trust. They need to do a lot more to bridge that trust gap between them and the public. However, the names, the one thing that Labour should have considered, even if the National Security Advisor and President of Nuhu Ribadu had told them that those who constituted the menace, who constituted the assault on the NLC president have been arrested or apprehended at the moment. Who are they? Because the Nigerian Labour Congress, one, criticized or alleged the Commissioner of Police in Imo State, in person of Mohammed Bade, alleged the area commander. According to Festus Sifo, the area commander was the one that carried out the instruction to assault the NLC president, and they equally alleged some of the aides of the Enugu State, of the Imo State governor. Hope Uzodinma. They alleged some of its aides for of being behind the act. So if the National Security Advisor is telling Labour that we have apprehended some of these, who are they? Can we see them? Because probably Mr. Festus Sifo and Mr. the assaulted NLC president should know, should see some of the faces who are among the crowd of persons or the people, the gathering of people that assaulted them. So they should know. So have they seen the Joe Ajero? Have they seen these persons that that the National Security Advisor said they have apprehended? Are they part of those? If he has not, then it is another wishy-washy statement that don't worry, we've done what you said, we have arrested those who are concerned, so please call off the strike, and they did. And I don't think that's because the reason why I have to go this road, because my conversation on record with Rotimi Akinola, he was saying he absolutely does not support the Nigerian Labour Congress for the way and manner they've been, organizing strike a day and a half, or in fact just like 6 hours they call off the strike.
Something like what Sheson Kwade said yesterday, when he was on the program. He said, can we compare the time of Adams Oshiomhole, when they know they are going on strike for a cause? You would see
at least a week.
You will see that most times when they put a demand, 60 to 70% most of the time will be met before they can actually go back. That now it feels like it's now a normal thing. We'll hear NLC go on strike
for 6 hours. 6
hours, 12 hours, max 48 hours.
No.
And after that, they're coming back. But you can let us know your thoughts on this. You can be a part of the conversation. 0700-1021-1021 is the number to call. 0700-1021-1021 is the number to call. Send a WhatsApp message to 0907-224-5018. We'll take a breather now. When we're back, we'll delve straight into the dailies. To stay with us.
Avenue to blast your brand. Why not let us be your detonator at High Impact Radio 102.1 FM with Got You Covered. For advert placement, sponsorship, partnership, call us on 0706 393 5694 0915 958 1881 0902 745 3931 or send an email to info@highimpactstudio.com.
Join us Mondays to Fridays, 7:05 a.m. for newspaper reviews, headlines, analysis, and comments on your urban lifestyle station. High Impact 102.1 FM.
A very good morning to you and welcome to the newspaper review once again. Now, we delve into the business of the day and we begin with the Punch newspaper. The central caption of the Punch newspaper talks about what we opened the program with this morning about the Nigerian Labour Congress, NLC, and the TUC. Labour suspends strike. Organized private sector stakeholders tackle NLC and TUC. We have two riders to that story. Strike over Ajero. Assault, abuse of power, says LCCI. LCCI should be Lagos State Chamber of Commerce, Mines and Industry. The maritime sector loses 20 billion naira. Labour threatens to resume strike, insists on demand, says suspension is temporary. Moving away from that, Lagos, Kogi, Rivers lead as inflation hits 27.33%. That story is on page 8 of the Punch newspaper. 177 deported Nigerians violated Saudi Arabia visa rules. That's according to the Saudi Arabia embassy in Abuja yesterday. I remember that story vividly. Federal government reduces charges against Emefiele. Strike stalls arraignment. Federal government reduces charges against Emefiele. Strike stalls arraignment. That story is on page 7 of the Punch newspaper. You might want to grab a copy to have more of the details of that story. Moving on, Labour Party welcomes Atiku's merger proposal. NNPP gives condition. Navy arrests 4 stowaways aboard Dubai vessel. That story is on pages 4 and 5 of the Punch newspaper. And lastly, Lagos State government dislodges, arrests street traders in Oshodi and others. It's on page 6 of the Punch newspaper. And those are the stories making the rounds on front page of the Punch newspaper. However, the phone lines are open. You can call into the program 0700 1021 1021. That is 0700 1021 1021. You can send WhatsApp message to our WhatsApp line on 0907 224 5018. 0907 224 5018. Those are the stories making the rounds on front page of the Punch newspaper.
Right, very quickly we move straight to the Guardian newspaper. On the front page, the major caption here says currency depreciation, high energy cost worsen inflation outlook. There's an infographics here, a breakdown as to how inflation surges, hits multi-decade high of 27.3%. As monthly growth retreats. Fuel at 617 naira per litre, diesel at over 1,200 naira per litre. You can see the headline inflation from August to October, the food inflation from August to October, and the average exchange rate, the black market from August to October. You can just see the projection. It's kept going high. The exchange rate was at 900 naira to a dollar in August. In September, 975 naira to a dollar. In October, 1,009 naira to a dollar. Food inflation was at 29.34% in August, 30.64% in September, and 31.52% in October. And headline inflation was at 25.8% in August, 26.72% in September, and 27.33% in October. You can get more details. You want to look into the details properly. It's on page 6 of the Guardian newspaper. Moving on from that story very quickly, House of Reps demand implementation of 550 billion naira subsidy removal palliatives. I've lost count of the. Is this an entirely different one? Because I've lost count of the amount of subsidy removal palliatives that we've had to come across ever since the first subsidy was removed. So this is another one here. House of Reps demand implementation of 550 billion naira subsidy removal palliative. That's on news page 3. Tackling crashes by trucks, articulated vehicles in Lagos and Oku. That's on news analysis page 4. Beside that story, Saudi cites wrong visas, faulty application for deportation. We took that on a Punch earlier, and that's still a story that is still ongoing. That's on Panorama page 2 of the Guardian newspaper this morning. NNPCL flags currency crisis as barrier to investment. That's on business page 18. Strengthen EFCC chair to sustain anti-corruption campaign. You get more details on editorial page 12. And lastly, NLC TUC suspend strike. Asks federal government to reciprocate gesture. And those are the stories making the rounds on the front page of the Guardian newspaper. Do not forget you can be a part of the conversation. 0700-1021-1021 is the number to call. 0907-224-5018 is the number to send your WhatsApp message to. And that's all on the Guardian newspaper this morning.
Welcome back. Many thanks for joining us on the program. Now we move on to stories making the rounds on front page of the Vanguard newspaper. On the front page of the Vanguard newspaper, we can see the Nigerian Labour Congress members carrying their flags and donned in the attire of the NLC, red and white, and moving in mass. However, the caption beneath that picture said that Ajero NLC TUC suspend strike for further negotiations. NLC and TUC suspend strike for further negotiations. To other stories on the front page of the Vanguard newspaper, visas of passengers airlifted from Nigeria verified by Saudi Arabia. That's according to Air Peace. Visas of passengers airlifted from Nigeria verified by Saudi Arabia. That's according to Air Peace. Now, the trouble here is the Saudi Arabia gave their own excuse on the platform that most of the visas, the visa on arrival entry, the rules were not followed by over 177 passengers. But about 87 of them did that, so they were allowed into Jeddah. But about 177, their visas, they didn't qualify for that. However, I expected them to give more details about it. I think it was too much on the surface. It didn't give you want to know, penetrate that what you have there on the surface, that they didn't fulfill the category of visa that they applied for. They didn't qualify for that. So what were the entry requirements? Which of the requirements did they meet? Well, which of them didn't they meet? And why didn't they meet that particular requirement? If that is the case, why did you? Okay, because that it was supposed to be visa on arrival. When you get to Saudi Arabia, you're supposed to be under the visa on arrival, then you can have your entry into the country.
Well, according to the story now, I'm trying to go into the details. You would see that Air Peace released a statement saying that all the visas were checked and verified through the required website, and they were provided on the platform that the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Saudi Arabia also confirmed the validities of the passenger visa. According to them, it went through the visa portal provided by Saudi Arabia authorities, and that's why the passengers were able to leave Nigeria. Now, this is just one of the 2 steps required before a passenger is accepted on the flight to Saudi Arabia. The next step is the use of the Advanced Passenger Information System. They also said they used the system to determine the admissibility or otherwise of each passenger on the flight. And Air Peace also stated that the names of the passengers were sent to Saudi Arabia's National Travel Security Center before the flight even took off from Nigeria. So from all of this,
it looks like they fulfilled all righteousness.
They said they didn't get any notice of cancellation or any form of denial from the Saudi authorities. And that's why that all the passenger manifest containing the names of all the passengers on the flight was sent ahead to the Saudi Arabia National Travel Security Center before the flight departure. Yet there was no notice of visa cancellation, and they didn't receive anything like that for any passenger.
And you, Mr. President was in Saudi Arabia at that particular point in time observing the Hajj. So the Saudi Arabian authorities and the consulate need to come out and give verified information. Why they denied the Nigerian those visas.
Right.
Because I think we have some form of bilateral relationship here, and if they can be treating Nigerians was in Saudi Arabia at that particular point in time, and this is not good for the image of the country, please. Moving on from that story, visas of passengers airlifted from Nigeria verified by Saudi Arabia. That's according to Air Peace. Soaring food prices drive inflation to 27.33%. And how we can end insecurity in the southeast. That's according to the House of Representatives. Abia restricts movement of heavy-duty vehicles from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. Governor Eno to editors deploy new template for development-oriented reportage. Why we cancelled 264 Nigeria visas, Saudi Arabia embassies, and those are the stories making the rounds on the front page of the Vanguard newspaper.
Very quickly, we take a look at the Daily Trust newspaper this morning. 2 children killed as fire razes 1,113 houses at Borno IDP camp. 2 children killed as fire razes 1,113 houses at Borno internally displaced persons camp.
IDP.
This is where the people are. They are internally displaced people.
Yes.
That's a location that has been set aside for them. And fire has razed about 1,113 houses at the camp, thereby killing 2 children. This is worrisome. We'd like to know what exactly caused the fire. And now that these houses has been razed down, this is an IDP camp. How soon would they be, put back up?
They'll be sleeping under the sun. They'll be sleeping under the rain. These people, first of all, were chased away from their homes, by terrorists, bandits, and insurgents in the first place. And they are now just living in makeshift shambles somewhere they call the IDP camps. And yet, we got fire taking over that place, and the fire lasted over an hour before the fire service could come there with some good Samaritan to put out the fire. And the fact that 1,113 houses were consumed by that fire it raises a serious question. Now, do remember that in Niger State, there was a boat incident that claimed more than 100 lives. Whether in Kogi or in Kwara State as well, we had a boat incident.
There was another one
recently in Benue River that claimed over same 100 lives.
And I asked myself the question: why are these boat accidents coming up all of a sudden so frequently?
Yeah, you now see it's not taking a trend all of a sudden. And I want to ask a question. There is this agency, the bureau, actually, we have in Nigeria, Accident Investigation Bureau. They are saddled with the responsibility to, go beyond where the police investigation can go beyond and look into this matter. Because most of the time, when these cases or these incidents are investigated, they come forth to tell you that it's just mere common security measures safety measures that was supposed to be taken that was not taken. I think it is a coincidence that a mere safety measure that should be taken that was not applied consecutively on 3 or 4 occasions back to back.
Recall that this is
just taking place, and we have not given it a second look.
Exactly.
That something else could be responsible for this.
This is how the train accident too started for a while, and back to back we saw some attacks and accidents on railways.
Yes.
And then there was a pause. And then now again this, but
the investigative authorities should do more. Even if there is no money, there's no finance for them to conduct the investigation. The authorities that were responsible to provide these monies should do that.
Well, let's see how that goes. You get details of that story on page 4 of the Daily Trust newspaper. Moving on very quickly, after grounding the Federal Capital Territory and states for 2 days, Labour suspends strike. Israel wants to turn Gaza unlivable city. That's coming from a Palestinian envoy in regards to the war that is still ongoing. Why we deported Nigerian passengers. That's coming from Saudi authorities. You can get more details on page 6. In business news, inflation hits 27.3% as cost of food and others rise. Nigeria loses 1.3 trillion naira on waivers and concessions. That's coming from customs, and you can get more details on page 20.
Waivers.
Senate wants Port Harcourt Maiduguri rail upgraded to standard gauge. That's a page 6 read. And lastly, minority leadership, PDP senators settle for North Central. That's on page 10. And that's it on the Daily Trust newspaper. Remember, you can be a part of the conversation. 0700-1021-1021 is the number to call. Send a WhatsApp message to 0907-224-5018. We'll take a breather now. When we're back, we'll be having a conversation with our guests. So stay tuned.
Venue on the sea. A perfect and top-notch location for your special, social, and corporate occasions. Here at High Impact Cruise, we handle your events with elegance while providing you with outstanding service. An amazing experience you will never forget. For more inquiries, call 0815-181-9580, 0818-824-5734, or visit www.highimpactcruise.com. High Impact Cruise, dream, discover, explore.
Are you looking for an avenue to blast your brand? Why not let us be your detonator at High Impact Radio 102.1 FM with Gachi Cover. For advert placement, sponsorship, partnership, call us on 0706 393 5694, 0915 958 1881, 0902 745 3931, or send an email to info@highimpactstudio.com.
Picture this. You, your family, and friends cruising glass full and having the time of your lives this Christmas. That's right, this Christmas at High Impact Cruise, we are turning up the fun factor to 11. Join us on December 10th at our Fresco Cruise. Treat yourselves to an extraordinary night of indulgence surrounded by Lagos water. On December 25th for the Santa Cruise, and on December 26th for our Silent Disco Cruise. Bid farewell to the year in style at the Groovy Cruise on December 30th, and start the new year with a bang at the Symphony Cruise on January 1st. All cruises are on lock from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. This December is gonna be lit. For inquiries, please call 0815-181-9580 or 0818-824-5734, or visit www.highimpactcruise.com. You can visit us at High Impact Cruise Boarding Terminal, opposite Lagos House, Outer Marina, Lagos. High Impact Cruise. Dream, discover, explore.
The sea, the waves, serenity. High Impact Cruise.
Welcome to High Impact Cruise.
Yes, experience the waters of Lagos, you and your family, on Eugene 1, a luxurious ultra-modern 4-story yacht, fabulous music, sumptuous meals, and an elegant, well-stocked bar with an array of exotic drinks. Call 0705-095-5987 or 0806-483-1491 for bookings and enquiry. High Impact Cruise. Dream, discover, explore.
Join us Mondays to Fridays, 7:05 a.m. for newspaper reviews, headlines, analysis, and comments on your urban lifestyle station. High Impact 102.1 FM.
Do you know bad production can kill a great content idea?
Do you want to have a photo shoot, audio production, or do you need a professional voiceover artist?
Do you simply want unmatched cinematography, video production, or just event coverage, such as weddings, birthdays, or burials?
Or do you need a space for meetings or conferences? All these are possible with High Impact Studios. Don't bring down your creativity, let's help you take it high.
And out of this world with our state-of-the-art equipment and first-class studio space.
We give you the quality you deserve at the best rate.
For more details, call 0706 393 5694 or 0915 958 1881. High Impact Studios, the future.
Okay, a very good morning to you once again, and welcome to the newspaper review. And now we are being joined by Babatunde Rufai Adejumo via phone call this morning to analyze some of the stories making the rounds on front pages of newspaper. Good morning to you, Babatunde Rufai.
Good morning. Good morning, Nigerians.
Good morning. Thank you for joining us on the program today. Can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, very quickly now, we would like to get your perspective on the NLC and TUC conversation. Recall that the NLC and TUC embarked on a strike effective midnight 14th of November 2023, which was on Tuesday. And one of the major reasons for the strike was the assault on the NLC president in person of Joe Ajaero, amongst other demands that the NLC has been making to, that has been placing before the federal government. And fast forward to yesterday night, we got update as to how the NLC and TUC had suspended the strike barely 48 hours after embarking on the strike, and this has made Nigerians feel a certain kind of way. We'd like to get your thoughts on this.
Well, thank you. It's so unfortunate that we are this situation at this time. Glory to God that they have decided to call off the strike, but at the same time, let us look at what brought about the situation. You see, government came in 2020. That is the government of Uzodinma in Imo State, and this government tried to do a reform in the public service sector in the state, and it discovered about 20,000 to about 11,000 ghost workers. There's no any serious government in any part of the world that would want to clean up its public service. You cannot be paying those who are not coming to work. And the government decided to yank them off. This is not the first time a government will be yanking off people from the public service list who are ghost workers, who are discovered to have not been coming to office, but for collecting salaries. This salary is not manufactured from heaven. This salary does not come from water. These salaries are taxpayers' money. So they decided to yank them off, and since then, the government has been doing fine, paying salary as at when due, paying pension. But all of a sudden, Joe Ajaero just decided that no, they need to pay those 11,000 people that have been yanked off from the public service. And the government said, let them go and provide evidence that they are coming to work, that they are duly appointed, given employment by the state government. But they didn't look at the merit of the case. They decided to mobilize workers in the state to march on the streets of Owerri. And something negative happened. There was a fracas, and I don't know if that report is yet to be confirmed. Police said they decided to take him off the road because there was a planned attack on his personality, on the person of Joe Ajaero. Probably that is correct, probably that is not correct, we don't know. But at the same time, this is a state that has election in few weeks to that time. No. You see, you don't play. You don't decide to take action because you know somebody is in dire need of the people. No, the consequences might be there to deal with. What it has happened. It has happened.
Adejuma Babatunde, let me interrupt you for a bit now.
Right.
Fine, the attack on Joe Ajaero was one part. The NLC also stated this is not the first time we are getting the NLC on the news. Recall that on the 3rd of October, the NLC was also set to begin a strike over the situation of the country and the demands that they had placed before the federal government. And after a meeting and signing a memorandum of understanding with the federal government, after a period of 30 days, they still came out to say the federal government had not met this demand. How about the rancor, the back and forth we get between the federal government and the NLC, where the NLC keeps insisting that after signing an agreement, or after making agreements with the federal government reneges on its part of the agreement, and they don't live up to the promises that they have made. Time and again, they meet up, they say they're going to do this, and nothing comes out of it. How about that aspect, moving away from the attack on Joe Ajaero? That is also one of the reasons for the frequent talks about strike.
Well, there was a roundtable meeting, and a decision was taken that certain amount of money, there should be an increment to the salaries, welfare, and welfare package of staff and the likes, which the federal government has met that demand. In fact, at the point when federal government decided to add 25,000 naira to some categories of staff of the civil service, the NLC and the TUC reneged and said no, it has to cut across. The federal government went back and decided to increase it to 35,000 naira across board. You know, when you are making decisions, this is not a decision you are making for over 40 to 50 million people cannot be made under a nanosecond. It's not possible. It has to, you know, the bureaucracy of government. You know the bottlenecks that are attached to it. So it has to go through the process, and immediately it went through the process, they decided to pay. And now, as from September, they have been enjoying that 35,000 naira. This is to tell you that Joe Ajaero and TUC president, they are not even fighting for the generality of Nigerians. They are fighting for those who are civil servants. And this is not the best for this nation. You see, federal government decided to remove fuel subsidy, and this has caused a lot of things as far as the nation is concerned. Good. They might have a very good intention, but you know, the market system is not being controlled by the government. There are individuals, there are bourgeoisies, there are socialites that are taking over the market. So this is why it becomes so hard. Inflation begins to rise, purchasing power begins to get low, and people are complaining bitterly. This is where Joe Ajaero and others, the TUC and the NLC, are supposed to look at and sit with government, provide solutions to government, not that demanding that since you have removed this, you must increase our salary. We cannot continue to come to work. No. You should fight for the generality of Nigeria.
Okay. Just a moment.
Policies and tell government, come up with price system control, a committee that will be responsible for making sure that the market price does not increase, the purchasing power of people are being endured, so that they can. People are suffering, people are crying.
Okay. Thank you.
I know the number of calls I have received about this morning. People that cannot even afford a token of 1,000. You can imagine the situation.
But your government, this government is responsible. Part of the responsibility is from the Tinubu administration that people can't even afford 1,000 naira. Just a moment, Babatunde Rufai. You just mentioned that even 1,000 naira, some people cannot afford at the moment. And it is because of the economic policies that the Tinubu administration just made when it got into office. Now, however, before I have you respond to that, let me take, you said Joe Ajaero and the NLC are not fighting for the totality of Nigerian citizens. One, the Nigerian Labour Congress, one of the demands they placed before the federal government is that the Port Harcourt refinery will be working at least in this December. Mr. Buhari his administration was working on that to make sure that the Port Harcourt refinery comes into function at December. Mr. Heineken Lokbobri, who is the Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Gas, equally went around and reiterated that promise by this administration, Tinubu's government, to do that. That's demand that Labour has put forth is for the generality of Nigerians. Now, the federal government just now said that it is looking forward to reducing or taking about 40% of the IGR generated by Nigerian tertiary institutions. Do remember that the government seemed to be removing its hand from sponsoring the tertiary institutions in the country, and that has made ASU to say there is a strike imminent in the country. NLC, ASU, and other affiliate unions are looking forward to going on strike, tackling the government that the schools are not generating sufficient income at the moment, and the government, by way of its policy, has made the higher institution to raise the school fees of different schools over by 1,000%, by 300 or 200% in different schools. that particular battle, or will I say struggle, is that the Nigerian Labour Congress and its affiliates are tackling. It's for the generality of Nigerians. There are some others that they can be tackling that is just for Nigerian civil servants, but these are the generality, and these are some of the issues that the government is backtracking on, and it's notoriously known, not just the Tinubu administration, but previous administration, of not fulfilling their part of the bargain.
Okay, good. Have you tried to make research about how much government has spent on making sure our refineries come back to life?
No, it's the result Nigerians want to see. It's the result. It's not about how much the government has put into that project. Okay.
I want to drive on the point. You see, those who are in charge of these refineries are civil servants who are members of TUC and NLC. Why is it that anytime we spend huge amount of money bringing expatriates from outside the country to come and fix our refineries, after pumping 50,000 liters or 100,000 liters or 500,000 liters, the refinery go back to comatose?
Okay, Mr. Babatunde, let me remind you once again. I know, no, I understand. Now, let me remind you once again. There was a time, like 2-3 months backward, Mr. President said that Nigeria does not have problem. That one of the problems in Nigeria is a leadership problem. Mr. President equally said that we should not pity him by voting him to become the president of Nigeria, that he asked for the job, and we should not pity him. Now, if severally the government has been trying to revamp the refineries that has been comatose for a long period of time, and whoever the government is giving the contract to is not delivering, even if it is the civil service for performing their work, it is not delivering. The government is the leader of this to make sure that there is a roadmap, there is a blueprint to make sure that our refineries come back to work, because the reviving, the rejigging, and the operation of our refineries will cut down the economic hardship that we are currently experiencing in the country. Why won't the government take another initiative to make sure that the refineries are working?
Exactly.
Are you done? Can I make my
yes,
point
please,
now?
go on. Yes, please.
Oh, all right, good. You say those roads, the refineries, the project that federal government initiated are being supervised by the civil servants. If you if you revive a refinery and you are spending $19 billion, so far, $19 billion. Since 1999 to date, we have expended $19 billion on reviving our Port Harcourt refinery, our Kaduna refinery. Until today, none of those refineries can give you 1 million liters of fuel. Not to talk of diesel, not to talk of kerosene, not to talk of gas. 1 million liters of fuel. None of those refineries can provide you with 1 million liters of fuel. And these are taxpayers' money that are being released to ensure until the civil servants are serious, are sincere, and genuine. That is when we are going to get this country right.
Was those contracts given to the civil servants?
Let me give you a point.
Was the contract given to the civil servants?
TUC and NLC can continue to strike from now till tomorrow. They are working in tandem with the government. They are the one who gives specification of how a project is going to be done to contractors. They are the one who supervise the contract from the design, from the topographic design to the.
Do you have evidence of this? Do you have evidence of this? Because the TUC, because the NLC,
this civil service rule.
Yes, but the civil servants are they the ones responsible for a turnaround maintenance that will go up $1.5 billion?
They are the ones
responsible for that.
You see, it's not about turnaround maintenance. It is about turnaround supervision.
Supervision is different from operation and maintenance.
Hello, and they are in charge. They are the ones in charge of supervision. You see, when we give a specification for a project, in fact, the project they are going to supervise, they are the one who design the ways and manner in which the project is going to be executed. The only function, the only thing, Mr. President, an honorable minister or a director general of that agency has to do is just to append his signature. Anything, it's just to append his signature.
Okay, Mr. Babatunde, when you were giving, you referenced Imo State when we commenced this conversation, and you said one of the reasons why Hope Uzodinma or what happened in Imo State happened was that Hope Uzodinma's administration discovered over some thousands of ghost workers in the state, so it took the initiative to remove them from the payroll. Oh, okay, yeah. we have a caller. Just a moment. Let's take this call,
please.
Hello, good morning to you. Your name and where you're calling us from, please.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning.
This is Anthony from Ogun State.
Anthony from Ogun State, please go ahead.
Yes. So please, I want to suggest that when next you are bringing analysis, try to bring somebody that is very vast, somebody that is not sentimental. Because from what your analyst is saying to me, I don't so much understand him. He's just trying to be emotional, sentimental. So that is the point I want to make. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And bye.
Thank you. Thank you for your thoughts.
Okay.
Adejuma Babatunde, do we have you on the line?
I'm here.
Okay, so I was saying that you were referencing the Imo State government and administration that it discovered about over 11,000 ghost workers from the payroll, and he excluded them from that payroll and didn't pay salaries to them because it's a leakage and it's a waste of public funds and taxpayers' money. On the same initiative that the Imo State governor took, the federal government can equally take that initiative if civil servants are not performing their roles as expected in reviving and rejigging the Nigerian refineries. The government can take another initiative to make sure that December we have our refineries working.
Right. Please let us have this call. Hello, good morning. Please a minute. Hello, good morning.
Yeah, thank you. Good morning. This is Emmanuel.
Emmanuel, where are you calling us from?
Thank you. Thank you. Concerning the strike, for me, that strike is political. It says that because of Ajero was beaten, though I'm not supporting that beating, because I blame federal government for they're supposed to apprehend those people that beat Ajero actually.
Yeah.
But you cannot, because of one person, beat a whole nation on his neck. It's very, very bad. And we know that this Ajero, the campaign was following Obi, about. Right. So we cannot, because of one person, bring the country down. It's very bad. But I'm happy that we have the president that is hands up. Under this government, strike will last more than 3 days. I can assure you. Thank you very much.
Where are you calling us from, please?
It's from Ogun State.
All right, thank you. Thank you for sharing your thoughts.
Yeah, Mr. Babatunde, sorry for those interruptions. We had to receive some phone calls.
It's cool. We need to have views of people, and I must tell you, it is political. That is why I am being bitter about the whole thing. Okay. There have been strikes in the past. The NLC has gone on strike. In fact, within the last 6 months, they have gone on strike more than twice. So it shows that they have to put the government on its toes. Very good. There are policies, there are programs, there are announcements that does not go down well with the Nigerian people. Not just the civil service. That is my thing.
All right.
If there is a policy that does not go down well with the Nigerian people, NLC have the right to protect the interests of Nigerians.
All right, Mr. Babatunde, our time is up.
Sorry, just 1 minute. There was a case of president of NLC being beaten in Imo.
Yeah.
You went to the international airport of Abuja and begin to block roads, disrupt the flight system, disrupt the people who want to go and board their flight, who want to make their own journey because of your own personal interest. This is too sentimental. We must be factual. It's just too one-sided. Fight because of Nigerians, not because of yourself, not because of your political affiliation. The former NLC president, Oshomale, was speaking, I think yesterday or day before yesterday. We could all hear him. That no, if you want to fight the interest of Nigeria, let it be genuinely on the interest of Nigeria, not an individual.
All right.
You know there is an election in that state within the next few weeks or thereabout, before last Saturday. You went there and begin to protest.
Okay.
Right.
Thank you.
So why would you be attacked?
No. You cannot justify the attack on NLC.
The attack is absolutely inappropriate.
No. You can't
There's no justification for the justification for the attack on the NLC president Joe Ajaero.
For the demand of a good governance, but at the same time, we must be reasonable when doing things.
Our time is fast spent. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts with us this morning on the newspaper review. Thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you.
It is important to note that nothing justified the attack on the NLC president. It was out of place. It shouldn't have.
Absolutely.
It shouldn't have been. It shouldn't have happened at all, regardless of what the situation on ground is. I really would have loved to take him on
more questions for him, but our time
we'll
is
definitely have him some other time. Our time is fast spent, and we have to go this morning.
Yes, and we were that hard on Mr. Babatunde Rufai because he is the special assistant to Dayo Israel, who is the national youth leader of the All Progressives Congress. So, of course, he is a member of the APC. So we have to, tighten his belt for a few moments of that.
Right.
Well, that's where we draw the curtain this morning on the newspaper review. I am Oyinpriye Krumale. Very good morning to you.
And do not forget to follow us across all of our social media platforms at High Impact 1021 FM and _news around the globe. I am Sarah Owusu-Ansah. Thank you for listening.